Okay, today I'm going to share with you an amazing and powerful Google Chrome extension that is going to allow your students to do amazing things with text that may not be at their level, but it helps to make it at their level. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure you're in Google Chrome. From Google Chrome, you're going to Google um, Read and Write Chrome extension. And it's here. So I'm going to go to the Chrome store. I already have it added to my Chrome, but if you didn't, there would be a little blue bar here that said add. So it's already added for me. What this app does, or this extension does rather, is it combines a lot of very powerful tools into one. In the past, I've had to get kids to use 5 or 6 different extensions to do what this one extension can do. And it does act as a free alternative, because it is completely free, to Dragon, to Naturally Speaking, to all of these programs that we've more traditionally used that require a lot of training, and this requires no training. So I'm just going to exit out of there. Once it's added, it shows up in my bar up at the top, right? The great thing about this extension is that I can use it both in Google Docs and on the web. So we've all done this where we've had to do a research, or we've assigned a research project, and then we want to have our kids research something, but then we have to spend a lot of time helping them understand what the text is about, or finding different level text for our kids to research so it's at their level. So this is something that for our identified kids in particular is a lifesaver. So from here, I've already, let's say I'm doing a research project on the planets, and I've already pulled this up. So this is what I want to look at. So a number of different tools here that I'll show you. One of the first things that I do is that I find that my students get really distracted easily by all of the cool things. We kind of lose sense of where we're supposed to be looking at and what the main focus of what we're doing is, especially when you have things like planets quiz and coloring pages. So one of the first things that I do is I tell the students to simplify the text. And so to do that, all that they're going to do is they go here to simplify page. So by clicking on that, it removes the ads. It removes a number of other parts of it as well. Okay, so I've taken out my ads, I've taken out my pictures, now I'm just looking at the text, much easier for me to focus on. Okay, so the tools themselves. This button here is hover speech. So by clicking on this and then hovering over top.
Welcome to Planets for Kids. I really hope you enjoy the information that I have provided on this website.
Okay, so
you will find lots of information.
I can pause her or I can stop her. I'm going to stop her. So the hover feature allows you to pick up anywhere. I have a problem. I think I've already played around with her voice a little bit, so I'm going to go back to Ava.
Us Ava vocalizer.
And I'm going to go back to medium. But here under settings, I clicked on that little settings there. I can change my options, and you can imagine how much fun kids might have with that. So we're going to go US standard Samantha. So now, if I wanted to play the whole thing,
Us Ava vocalizer.
If I wanted to play the whole thing, I just select and
Us Ava vocalizer. We have 9 planets in our solar system.
I'm still on the hover mode. So here, if I click on this and I click play.
Welcome to Planets for Kids. I really hope you enjoy the information that I have provided on this website. You will find lots of information.
Okay, so she's talking. And again, you could slow her down or what have you. So those are the read features. So let's say I'm reading this text and I'm having some difficulty with the vocabulary, as our kids tend to. So maybe planets is a new word for me, and I'm reading and I don't know what it means. I have a couple options. I can click here on the dictionary, and it will bring up a dictionary definition for me. But let's say, so one of the largest objects that move about in space around a source of light, we live on planet Earth. So maybe that's still not quite what I need, and I need a little bit of a visual support. If I go picture dictionary, I have no word selected right now, but if I then select planets, it's going to come up with a picture for me and I can go, oh yeah. So this is a really great tool. It really supports this idea of multiple intelligences for our visual learners, for our learners where even that dictionary definition didn't help them out. Maybe seeing the picture of it will prompt them and say, oh yeah, I do know what that means. Okay. Endless tools available. One of the cool things is, so let's say your kids are working on something and you want them to create a vocabulary list. So by using the highlighter function here, so I'm going to highlight blue some keywords that are new to me or I feel are important to what I'm learning about. So planets would be a keyword. Maybe I want to know about the word orbits and I want to highlight that. Astronomy, that's a new word for me, so I'm going to click on that. And then maybe solar. I feel that's an important word for me to know, so I'm going to click on that. So now I've clicked some keywords for myself here. By clicking on this right here, it says vocabulary. I click on vocabulary. This is an unbelievable function. It's going to automatically right now create a Google Doc. And that Google Doc is going to have the word, it's going to have the dictionary definition, and it's going to have a picture that's loading right now. And then there's notes. So maybe for the notes, what I as a teacher would say is, okay, now put those two in your own words, right? And then that's our key thing. So again, while they're researching on the internet, or because this tool does work in Google Docs, maybe you've sent them something through Google Docs that you want them to read about, that works as well. Orbits, so you can see the visuals actually do have that circle feature to it, and they've shown a couple different ones, which is really amazing, the symbols that they've picked up. Astronomy, solar, having the picture of the sun there is huge, right? So this is something that could then be saved to their Google Drive and that they can refer back to. So very powerful, super simple. The program, the extension does it all for them. So if I want to clear any of my highlights, I just click here, and then I'm going to go to the broom here, and I'm going to clear my highlights. Another thing I can do, especially if I'm working on my research, is I'm going to go through and I'm going to start, I'm doing a research project on the planet, so I'm going to start picking out key information and focusing on my main idea. So maybe I've worked on main idea with my kids. I'm going to go purple this time for no particular reason. So I have 9 planets in the solar system, so that's a keyword. And they all circle around the sun, okay, and that's called an orbit. So I'm picking out my keywords. Like to think of the 2 parts. See, this isn't so important for me, but you know what, I do want to know the name of my planets, so I'm going to have Mercury, Venus, Earth. I'm going to select all that. I'm going to select Mars, and then Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And this website has decided to include Pluto, which is that ongoing debate, is it a planet or not? So now I've selected my key information, I've extracted my main ideas from the text, and you can see I've really minimized what I want to focus on, which is wonderful in the point. And so now, by clicking here, collect highlights, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to say, yeah, collect all my highlights. It's, again, going to create a Google Doc, and it's going to put it all in point form for me. All of it, right there, ready to go. So now, if I were a student, I could take my jot notes and write my paragraph, right? And what this does is it, A, brings all the information together from a variety of sources inside your text. It's put it in jot notes, and because it's in jot notes, it really does mean that you're not going to have as much issue with copying and with kids actually creating, copying and plagiarizing. So now from here, I can actually go and start my project of writing my paragraph. Amazing tool. Again, I'm in Google Docs, right? So I go, yep, that's all good. I'm probably just going to have to review it and say allow, because they're always worried about that. So now I have this again. I could get it to read it to me still. I can do a number of different things from here. Very, very powerful tool. Okay. The other thing that I can do is here for speech input. So now, if I want to write my students to write a paragraph, but maybe they struggle to write, I can then get them to dictate it. And again, this app allows them to do it. Except I didn't press it. So I wasn't ready to go yet. So we're going to stop it. I'm going to go back and delete. That's kind of funny. I'm going to go back and delete. And now I'm going to start. There are 9 planets in the solar system, period. These planets circle around the sun, period. Each circle is called an orbit, period. The planets in our solar system are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Period. End. So now I have my paragraph that I've actually read to the program. And yeah, no, it's not perfect, that's for sure. Commas have to be added, things like that. But what I can now do through this program is very easily have it read back to me. Don't know why it's not reading.
There are 9 planets in the solar system. These planets circle around the Sunday. Each circle is called an orbit. The planets in our solar system are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Simplify.
So I'm going to stop that. So again, it reads it to me. It's not perfect, right? But the fact that that list went so fast, that's going to cue a kid that, you know what? I need to start adding some commas there. And maybe that will slow it down, right? So again, very powerful to do research notes, to write paragraphs, all in Google Docs that they can send you. The last part of this program I'm going to show you is an absolute game changer for me, and that is a reading feature. So the kids have this text, they've practiced it, and let's say you're working on reading fluency with your students. So what you can then do is actually have them practice hearing it, right? So they can play it to themselves over and over again and hear what it sounds like. But let's say you want them to actually record themselves. So what they can do is select right here this practice read aloud button. Now I have a microphone. Right off the bat, I don't really want the welcome, so I'm going to delete that, or I'm just going to ignore it. I needed to delete it earlier. So I'm going to click on the start recording. We have 9 planets in our solar system. These planets circle around the sun. As I'm sure you already know, this is called orbits. A lot of astronomy people like to think of the solar system as being made up in 2 parts. We have inner solar system, which has Mercury, Venus, Earth, and not forgetting Mars. These are the closest to the sun and called the terrestrial planets, simply because they have very solid rocky surfaces. Stop. So what I can do now is I, as a student, can play it back. We have 9 planets in our solar system. So students could do a self-assessment off of that. And most importantly, they can send it to you if you use Google Classroom or have Gaphy. So again, you just give them your email, they type it in, it gets sent to you in your Google Drive, and you are good to go. So, one Chrome extension, completely free, works on the internet, works in Google Docs, and it does everything. All you need to do is make sure that your kids have headsets so that you don't have a million voices going on at once. And this, yes, it's for our identified students in that, yes, they're the ones that need it, but it goes back to what's in Learning for All. What is necessary for some is good for all. And the reality is that this is a very powerful program that will allow your students to do incredible things and allow you as the teacher to spend less time having to look for readings that are at their level. So hopefully you will enjoy it, use it, give it a try with your class. Would love to know what your experience is like. Thanks.